Stamping friends, welcome to the Joy of Stamping with Rachel. I'm Rachael Coon and it's Fun Fold Friday. Today I'm making a really fun card that's called a cube pop-up card and it's really fun. It doesn't even have a card base, that's how fun it is. Let me go ahead and flip and we'll get started. I'll show you how to make it. Sorry, 1 second. It's nice and tight for you guys. Be sure to comment when you are here. There we go. All right, let me get that all on scene. Perfect. So I'm using the Friends Are Like Seashells stamp set for our pop-up card today. And this is this really awesome pop-up card. You can kind of see how it will sit like that once they get it. But when you send it in the mail, it folds down flat like this and actually fits into a regular envelope. Pretty awesome, right? Isn't that so cool? I think this is one of the coolest cards out there. And it actually didn't take too much effort to make, and it's really fun to design. This design was my own, but this layout came from another demonstrator. All right, let me go ahead and show you how we make it. Like I said, be sure to comment because one of you will get today's card, which you don't want to miss out on this one. It's kind of unique and not as common, which makes it really fun. So like I said, this one really doesn't have a card base to it. Instead, it has 3 strips of paper, but let me show you how I cut those out and give you just a couple of the dimensions for it. So this started off as a 8.5 on this side, and I cut it down to 7 over here. And then I had this piece of paper and I scored it all at the same time by turning the paper, and I scored it at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. And then I went ahead and cut this to 3.5. And then these two are by 1 3/4. And these are our side cubes, and this is our middle cube. All right, you guys ready to figure out how we do the rest of it? I will have all these measurements over on my blog after we are done, so don't worry. Let's go ahead and get started with this center, the big piece. And to take your bone folder, and we're going to go over each of our score lines to just kind of give it a nice crisp fold on it, just like that. All right, and then we are going to show you that there's a smaller side and a big side on this end. This one is the normal size, this one's a little bit smaller. So if you want to hide that, you want to put it behind the normal size right there. Does that make sense? So we're going to take the smaller piece right here, and we're going to put some tear tape on it. Because I'm using thick Whisper White, it is a little bit more sturdy than just our regular white, which I should say basic white is our new white color. But if you were to use another of our cardstocks in a color, then it would hold just fine. All right, let's go ahead and peel this off real fast. Maybe. I have a love-hate relationship with tear tape. It is my favorite and least favorite because it has a little bit of struggle every time just to get that part off. There we go. Just grab it. Got it. Okay, now we just go ahead and line it up from end to score line. And if you're nervous about this part and not getting it lined up right away, go ahead and use that liquid glue instead. So I'm going to go like that so I can see it better. There we go. It's pretty good. So there's our center cube there. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with these ones. And you'll see that this is also the smaller side. Take your bone folder and get it going. Each one. Oh, I'm glad you guys are here. I see a couple people. I don't know if you noticed, I've had a very beachy theme for all of my cards this week. Pretty much all of my cards, at least. We had on our Wednesdays kit class, we had another beach theme. I started off my week at the beach on Monday with my family. It was MLK Day, and so we had the day off, and I got to go and play at the beach. Which meant sit and watch the waves, because it was too cold to actually go in. Okay, so here's that smaller side, and on this first one I did, I'd put it so that way it was on the inside. You can kind of see it there, kind of right there. How it's the smaller ones on the inside. But I'm going to hide it this time and do a little different, because we're going to put it on the front side. Because since these are cubes, we can see inside of it, and we don't want to see how that doesn't match. So on the smaller side, go ahead and put some tear tape on the back of it, just like that. I'll put a little bit of tear tape on this one and make sure we have it nice and good. All right, we'll remove that and make our next cubes. Oh, can't wait to make this. Yes, Mandy, I hope you do. And the fun thing about this is that depending on what DSP you use, you could totally change up your design. So this time I'm going to go over it. I'm going to put my edge to my score and just fold it over. Just like that. I have one cube now. We'll do the same for this one. I'm using the, what is it called? It's a funny name. It's like Seaside Shells DSP, I want to say. It has a lot of tongue twister to this stamp set, so I always get confused. Okay, there we go. So our cubes are made. Now we can attach them to our base right here. So I like to have this part on the back side so you can't see it. That's where our ends met. And then you want to have these cubes are going to be attached to each of these sides here. And if you get confused of which way it goes, you can flatten this back out and see that's how it's going to look once it's folded down. And I'll give you a reference. This, you can use the liquid glue or you can use the tear tape. Let's go ahead and use some liquid glue and give us a little bit of wiggle. And then put this where that inseam was. And then we're going to lay it on here. To help you to make sure it's going to lay flat though, you can open it back up and then lay it flush on your tabletop that you're using, your work surface. Kind of make sure that it's going on there. Oh, I think I gave myself too much wiggle room with my liquid glue today. That's okay. There's that one. All right, let's do the next one. Glue on the back. And you want it to be lined up with that one. Just like, there we go. Okay, so if I were to go like that, it would open up, but we want to let this one dry just a little bit more. So let me go ahead and do our stamping for this card. I use a layering square, which then I did a little half-inch score line right here to make our sign. And I'm using that really fun saying. It says, friends are like seashells. You collect them along the way. Super cute. And this is in that Sahara Sand cardstock along with a Sahara Sand ink. And we're just going to stamp it right above that score line. Let me press down really good because I don't have my mat. Let's see. How do we do? Oh, it turned out great. Awesome. We'll put that aside. And right here's our score line. So we're just going to bend that and use it like that. And then we're going to put just a little tear tape right here on the other end. And when we do this tear tape though, we only want it in the center. Don't put any on both of the ends, just a little strip there. And we'll get that one ready. While that's still drying, we'll go ahead and grab my seashells. So I have these seashells that I have stamped and embossed and cut out, and die cut out even. And then I've cut a fussy cut as well. And what we're going to do with these is just take our sponge and we're going to ink it up and go along the edges, just to give it a little bit more detail. And this one, I have that big shell right there. For this one, I'm going to use the two little ones. So we're going to do the brown, that's Sahara Sand, all the way around it. You can even go over it a little bit as well. When I stamped it, I had stamped it originally in the crumb cake, I believe. And then we're just adding a little bit more color to it. Just like that. Then, on my other side of my sponge, I have a pink side. I've noticed a lot of seashells just have a little bit of pink on them. So we're just going to add some Blushing Bride to our seashell edges as well. I'm just going to give that extra coloring to it. Love it. And this step you can skip if you want. It's totally up to you how much color you like on there. Awesome. Okay, next we'll do our DSP. You'll need at least 6 pieces of our DSP, and I have it with my ocean look, 4 of them, and then I did 2 of more of that sandy beach look. And those are 1.5 by 1.5 squares. And let's go ahead and attach that to our card now. So I'm going to put the sand on top with some liquid glue, just like that. Let's see if you guys can see that still on the screen, sorry. There you go. I'll do another one. I've seen a couple different styles of this, of these pop-up cube cards, but this one I like the most because it's littler. The one I've seen was a lot bigger, so there's lots of different versions that you can make. There is no rhyme or reason. As long as it fits in the envelope or to the person you're sending it to. I'm going to go that way with this water. Kind of make it look wave-like. All right. So I have a really awesome view from my home, and I can see the ocean every day, as long as it's not misty out. And this today we have it's a little bit cooler, and our ocean is really like a dark, dark blue. My son even called it gray looking today. And our clouds are gray. We're supposed to get some rain, which if you know, Southern California doesn't get rain very often. Okay, so that's how it's looking so far. And if we were to open back up, you can kind of see how it pops open like that. I do like working on it this way, so I can get them all lined up nicely and it's folded down. It's a little bit easier. And then we are going to embellish it now with all of our really fun things. So we have these seashells. I also have this part that I've die cut out and embossed, and we're going to steal and cut off just this little part here. I use the soft sea foam, I think is what it's called. It's a very light shade of green. I didn't want this part to be too overpowering, and I didn't want it to be too big. So I'm just taking off just a little bit of it, and we're going to use some glue and put that on just the bottom, because we want this one to pop up when we have it sitting up. So we're going to put the glue part on this bottom side here. Hold on, let me poke out those extras. I don't want you guys getting, there we go. Perfect. That looks better. Okay, glue right here on the bottom, and nothing glued over that score line. You see that right there? So when I open it, that will pop up. There we go. All right, so our seashells here, we're going to put some dimensionals on them, and then we're going to use those to cover up where that seaweed is meeting. So we'll just kind of angle one that way, and I'll put a dimensional on the back of this one and have it kind of like that. Also part of the suite, they have these really awesome stickers, which I'm usually not a sticker kind of girl, but they really do save time, and they're nice because they already have adhesive on them. So we're going to use these to embellish, and these ones are called Seaside Shells. So we're going to grab one of these starfish off, just peel it off, and put it down here with our shells. And then I also have this cool pink one over here, and we'll embellish it on this side. And I'll put that one maybe a little bit up like that. Looking awesome. All right, last is we just have this little banner piece that we've made, and we're going to take off our tear tape and go ahead and close it up and put it in the middle, right about there. The trick is, I should have grabbed it. If you're worried about it not fitting in your envelope, put it over your envelope while you're attaching your embellishments to make sure they're not going off too far. And then when I close this one, I always want this one to go down first into the envelope so it doesn't go underneath that part. But other than that, that's it, you guys. That's how you make this really fun pop-up cube card that has these great seaside embellishments, and the best saying, friends are like seashells. You collect them along the way. I hope you guys have learned something new and will give this one a try. Thank you so much for joining me today, and have a wonderful weekend. Happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.